2021. We are here again. Respected Professor Balchandra Loitel sir, Dean of School of Education, Kathmandu University, all professors, distinguished guests and friends, a warm good evening to you all. I'd like to wish you a Merry Christmas as well, and Namaste to you all. Today we are here in this virtual webinar session organized by Kathmandu University School of Education, STEAM department, for the next session of Aaloo Pate project, an example of project-based learning. We hope you'll have a similar sort of Pate flavor throughout this session. This program is a continuous effort of different professors, facilitators, mentors, students of the same department, the STEAM department. In today's session, my friends, MPhil scholars Pritika Basnet, Khilnarayan Shrestha, and Harsha Badachan will be with you, sharing their innovative ideas of project-based learning in transdisciplinary approach. They will be focusing on engagement of science, mathematics, and health dimension in such a transdisciplinary perspective. For this same reason, I like to start this session with the opening remarks from our respective ma'am, postdoc Rosni Rajbansi. You are welcome, ma'am, for your words of encouragement and remarks to highlight this session. You are welcome.
Thank you, Kavita ma'am. Namaste everyone, and namaste Balchandra sir, our Dean of Kathmandu University School of Education. And also Merry Christmas to everyone. I would like to welcome all of you in our regular webinar series organized by KUSOD, Department of STEAM Education. First of all, I would like to inform everyone that we have admission open for MPhil and PhD, and I would like to request everyone to spread this information with your friends, brothers and sisters, and also your neighborhood. Today, we are going to have a webinar on Aaloo Pate, as Kavita ma'am just said, health dimension of STEAM education, in which presenters Pritika ma'am, Khilnarayan sir, and Harsh Bahadur sir. They are going to shed some lights on the health dimension of the STEAM education. So just talking a little bit about the STEAM education in health section, there are myriads of use of science and technology in medical science or health science, and there is remarkable use of innovative technologies in the field of health sciences. So because of the advancement in the science and technology, doctors are able to save life even in this COVID crisis, as we all know that many people have died, but also doctors have been able to save many people's life because of the technology. So it makes the treatment more effective. It provides real-time patient data also. It makes the interaction between patient and the doctor fast. And even sometimes the robotics are also used to, for surgery, for example, removing the brain tumors and like that. However, what happens is that in the real world scenario, science and technology have been doing really good. However, in the school, science and maths are considered as hard subject, and the students become very reluctant to read those hard subjects when they go to higher education. So this is true not only in school but also in higher education, because when we look at the students in higher education, the number goes less in the science and math, and also the number of the female is really low in the science and math, as it is very hard, considered as hard subject. So it is important that we educators teach all the students all the subjects, including science and math, with the same enthusiasm, and so that the students do not find the science and math as hard subject, and students become very willing to learn and pursue their careers related to science, technology, engineering, as well as math, in this regard. So saying all this, I would like to hand over to Kavita ma'am. Thank you, Kavita ma'am.
Thank you, Rosni ma'am, for your beautiful and encouraging words. Now, without much delay, I'd like to hand over this virtual floor to our today's presenters, Pritika ma'am, Khilnaren Shrestha sir, and Harsabhadar Chandra sir. Welcome, friends. Over to you now.
Okay. Yes, thank you, ma'am. Am I audible? Because I'm
Yes,
using
ma'am.
two devices
You are.
here.
You are. Mm.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. Today we three are here, as Kavita ma'am already introduced us. We three are here to present our project on Aaloo Pate, an example of project-based integrated learning. So in this project, we will talk about a project. We have two parts in this project. The first part, we will explain the project, and in the second part, we will relate it with the transdisciplinary pedagogy, integrated pedagogy. So moving to the, without delaying, I would like to move further. This one is the presentation of presentation outline. And first of all, I will talk about overview of the project. In this overview, I will talk short about Aaloo Satpate project. After that, the objective of the project, and then and third, we will discuss about the activities of the project. We will have certain three activities, and at the end of that activity, we will relate the project with health education, and at the same time, we will relate it with the math and science education as well. And in the second part, as I mentioned earlier, in the second part, we will discuss the project from the lens of pedagogical perspective. So, moving to the first objective overview. Now, we all have, I think, heard about, or most probably we have tasted aloo, or we can say some place we can say chana chatpate. It is a locally available food in Nepal, and the ingredients used in this dish is locally available. We can easily find it in our local market, like groceries or a vegetable market, and we can prepare it at our home. Basically, we can have many vendors around our locality who sell the ready-made chatpate uh, from those vendors, but I guess that those may not be hygienic or healthy for our health. So from this project, I also encourage to use the hygienic product or hygienic chatpate for our health. We can prepare it at our home with easily available local ingredients. I guess in most of the home we prepare it in our in our home as for the snacks and and the daytime, and it is one of the most nutritious food. I think when I say this, many of us have doubt. Is it really nutritious food? We think we might think like that. Is it really nutritious? But in my view, it contains all the sources of nutrition. For example, we use puffed rice, like muri. We say muri in local language, muri, uh, and we use aloo or potato. Those are the sources of carbohydrate. And the other ingredients that we use as a source of protein are like grams, chana. We use chana, like we say it's grams, and peas, like mutton. Uh, those are the sources of protein, and for the sources of fat, we use oil, vegetable oil, for preparing the chatpate. And for the vitamin, we use small pieces of carrot, and we use the other ingredients like green vegetables. We can use green vegetables like spinach. We can use spinach, or we can use um, the other vitamin, carrot, like we can use the carrot. And minerals, for the minerals, we can use like sodium, we use the salt, and we use cumin powder. Those are the great source for minerals. like potassium, phosphorus. So in one dish, I think in one dish, it is good to find all the nutritious, all the balanced diet. So I call it the most nutritious, one of the most nutritious food in one diet. In one diet, we can find all the sources of nutrition in one diet. And it can be now, moving to the main objective of this project. We can relate this project, Chatpate making project, and we can integrate it with our pedagogy to teach different concepts of health, math, and science. So the overview of the project, most probably this one, we can relate it with the lower level of classes as well. But now we are focusing on grade 6 to 8, and the subject integrated over here is science, mathematics, and health education. And the chapter covered from the health part is balanced diet and hygiene, obviously, and importance of balanced diet, classification of food, food safety, malnutrition. And from the science perspective, we can relate it with heterogeneous mixture, scientific learning, measurement and unit, acid and chemicals used in daily life. And for the and while we relate it with mathematics education, relate the project with mathematics education, we can teach the students the basic arithmetical skills, profit and loss, unitary method, and ratio and proportion. And likewise, the other skills beyond these the subjects, we can have students for the observation skills. Student observe, and for this, so before the project, we have to make aware that students must be listening tentatively and involved in the project, so that they can reflect and relate the project with different subjects and different concepts of those inter subjects. So we have to make them aware that we are not just having fun, like just eating delicious food or making chapati and having fun, but we also have to make them aware, like they have to relate it with their learning as well. So this also develops their critical thinking skills, and they if we make them aware, like uh, they tend to think from the science perspective, from the health dimension, from the math dimension as well. So they can develop these skills as well. And another skill is I have not written here, project writing skills as well. We can give the students about writing the project, what we did in the project, report writing skills as well. Now, coming to the objective of the project, students will be able to relate the project to understand the concept of nutrition. This one goes to the health education, like another concept is malnutrition. And they will be able to relate the project to solve the problems related to mathematics education, like ratio, proportion, cost price, selling price, profit and loss, and so on. Another, students can relate the project with the science, the concept of science, like measurement and unit, daily used materials, chemicals, mixers, scientific process skills, and report writing skills. So now, moving to the materials, these are the tentative ingredients that we chose, that is basically used for making the chatpate. So I'll just give the brief description, like the puff rice, muri, 3. It is for 15 individuals, and we can engage 10 to 15 individual students for this project. And we can make a chapati for 15 individuals, and for this we have the ingredients are puff rice 300 gram, and we have mentioned here the cost price in kg, and so that the students could calculate it in the required amount. So the cost price for 1 kg puff rice is 160. later Harsasar will describe in the math part for this section. And the next ingredient is the potato boiled, and we call it aaloo, usineko aaloo. And this one we use 200 gram, and this one is the great source of carbohydrate. Then, like if puff rice is also a great source of carbohydrate, and boiled potato is also a great source of carbohydrates. And the next one is onion, which we can use is 50 gram, which is 50 kg. 50, the cost price is 50 rupees per kg. And for the onion and for the tomato, we can have various minerals from these sources, like calcium, like potassium, like magnesium. Many minerals can be extracted from these sources. The another one is cabbage, which is a good source of protein, as well as the other minerals. And pea soaked and boiled 50 grams. Those are 100 rupees per kg, and grams soaked and boiled. These are the great source for protein, which is bodybuilding food, and 50 gram, and those is for 220 rupees per kg. Carrot is a great source of vitamin, as we know, and roasted cumin is a great source for different kinds of minerals. And lemon, it is a great source of vitamin C. And chili, it also contains the minerals, different kinds of minerals. We can get for 50 rupees per kg. And salt is obviously it is sodium, and it is one of the great source for the sodium. Coriander leaves, this one is a great source of fiber, diet fiber. And bhujia means here made of cereal flour, not made up of maida, like all-purpose flour. It is made up from the cereal flour, like चनाको पिठोबाट बनेको भन्छ भुजिया. This one is also a great source for like carbohydrate and protein as well. And the mustard oil is obviously this great source for fat, and this one is the 300 rupees per liter. This one, this cost price is just tentative. Please don't mention if it is high or it is don't mind it if it is high or if it is low. It's just the average. And materials required further are materials for making and serving chapati, like chopping knife. We need chopping knife, one large bowl of mixing for mixing the above ingredients, and clean paper. We can use clean newspaper, or we can use paper plates. If we use newspapers, we can engage the students to make the shape of the cone for serving. So moving to the activity of the project, activity 1 is like engaging students to prepare a serving cone and paper spoon for 15 minutes. We can engage students for making cone, and for making the shape of the cone, and for spoon students can make the shape of the rectangle, and like that. And for activity 2, at first collect all the above ingredients, the mentioned ingredients we have to collect. And for the collection, it depends upon the school, or it depends upon the teacher. They can collect it from the students, or they can collect it from the school administrative, or school kitchen, or something like that. It depends upon the teacher or school. And engage students to clean all the ingredients thoroughly. As we are using raw materials for this project, for this making project, we are if we do not clean it thoroughly with clean water, we can have other consequences as well, other health consequences. So it is essential to clean all the ingredients thoroughly to maintain hygiene. Another is engage students in chopping the above ingredients finely. Above ingredients must be chopped, for example, cabbage, onion, carrot, and the other equipments, tomato. They will chop all the ingredients. And after that, add all the ingredients except puff rice to a large bowl and mixed well. and at last add the puff rice. And there is a reason for adding the puff rice at last, because adding the puff rice in the later stage retains its crunchiness. उसिन्छ भन्छौँ नि, त्यो नउसिनको लागि चाहिँ हामी लास्टमा we use puff rice at the last of mixing. So serve equal to all the individuals, approximately 60 to 65 gram per head. I think this one will Harsha will also explore about this. And finally enjoy the delicious chatpate with all the students. And now for the activity 3, the main part of our pedagogy is like reflection and learning. And we can ask the students the probing questions relating with the project. Reflect on the activity and relate it with different concepts of inter-subjects such as health, math, and science. Now we have reviewed the curriculum, and we have brought here the learning outcome that can be related with, that can be aligned with the project. And here for the subject health, physical, and creative art is one subject in grade 6, 7, and 8. And we have extracted the learning outcome that aligns with the project. For example, in unit 3 there is पोषण तथा खाद्य सुरक्षा, nutrition or food safety. Yes, and for that we have different learning outcomes. सन्तुलित भोजनको परिचय दिन र महत्त्व बताउन, कार्यको आधारका खानेकुराको वर्गीकरण गर्न, स्थानीय तहमा उत्पादन हुने खानेकुरा पहिचान र उपयोग गर्न, स्थानीय तहमा उत्पादन हुने खानेकुराको प्रयोग गरी भोजन तयार गर्न, अल्प पोषक खानेकुराको पहिचान गरी यसले स्वास्थ्यमा पार्ने असरहरू बताउन. So that we can relate these learning outcome with the project while explaining the basic concept of balanced diet and its importance in human health and human health dimension. And another, we can relate it with the classification of nutrients based on the chemical nature, like we have here कार्यको आधारमा खानेकुराको वर्गीकरण. We have to classify based on the working system of the nutrition. So based on the chemical nature, we have carbohydrate, protein, and vitamins, minerals, fat. So based on the chemical nature, we can classify, and we can engage students to recognize the ingredients used in the project and relate it here. And the another classification is functions in the body, classification of nutrients based on functions in the body. It is like energy giving food, and body building food, and protective food, food for body development. We have these class of nutrients. So we can relate those ingredients over here, and ask students the probing question to recognize those ingredients and classify over here. And another classification is by mass required in the body. Here we can have micronutrients and macronutrients. Micronutrients are classified as like macronutrients are like bulky in nature, like carbohydrate, protein, fat are recognized as macronutrients, and vitamins and minerals are recognized as micronutrients. Those are required in small amount for sustaining our body function. The another concept we can relate with the project is selection of locally available food and its utilization. All the ingredients that has been used in the projects are the locally available food, so that we can give emphasis on the local culture or locally available food. So the last learning outcome here is like recognizing junk food. We can ask students to compare the chana chatpate with the market chana chatpate. What is the difference? What kind of junk food has been used in the market chana chatpate? For example, they use YY, like chow chow noodles, and it contains monosodium glutamate. And we can explain the we can explain those are harmful for our body, for our bone health. So another kind of junk food or uneatable food that has been used in market chana chutpati is like food dye, food color. Those are also harmful for our health. So we can ask students probing questions to recognize junk food and to discourage its use in daily food habits. For grade 7, we have learning outcome पोषक तत्त्वको परिचय दिन र स्रोत तथा कार्य बताउन अल्प पोषक खानेकुराको असरप्रति सचेत रही स्वस्थकर विद्यालय खाजाको छनौट र उपयोग गर्न. So for this, we can have the discussion agenda while relating with the project, like introduction of nutritious food and its importance, like we have discussed earlier. Classification of macro and micronutrients, we can relate it with the ingredients used in the Chatpati project, and encourage healthy, nutritious food and discourage junk food. We have to encourage nutritious food. We cannot use the junk food over here. We cannot use the monosodium glutamate here. We cannot use the food color, food dye over here. Those may have a negative effect on our health. Those may have hazardous effect on our health. So we have to give emphasis on those as well. And finally, we can engage the students to classify above ingredients used in the project. So this one can be repeated with the grade 6 objective, and we can engage. We can further make two groups among those students, and one group can have the can identify the macronutrients, and the another group can identify the micronutrients, and later they can present it with the whole class. So we can relate with another project. It's not project. It's like group work. Yes. And for grade 8, there is certain learning outcomes that could be related with the project, like कुपोषणको परिचय दिन र कारणहरू बताउन, like malnutrition. The concept of malnutrition, we can give the concept of malnutrition because these deficiency of these ingredients or these nutrition that has been the example of which has been given in the project is one of the main cause for the malnutrition disease caused by the malnutrition. For example, protein energy malnutrition. If there is a deficiency of protein, if there is deficiency of carbohydrates, there will be the disease caused by those deficiency, like kwashiorkor, marasmus. So we can relate it with the disease caused by the malnutrition as well. And we can have the classification of disease caused by deficiency and excess of each class of nutrients. Like I mentioned, deficiency of energy and deficiency of carbohydrate or deficiency of protein can cause kwashiorkor or marasmus. Deficiency of iron may cause anemia. Deficiency of vitamin A may cause night blindness. Deficiency of vitamin C causes scurvy. Deficiency of vitamin B causes beriberi, and so on. We can have many probing questions relating with the project. I think this one is the health part is over. Thank you, and over to you Harsha sir, for the mathematics concept. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pritika ma'am, and good evening to all. Let me explain how this Chana Chatpati project can be used to develop different skills, different concepts, and problem solving ability in the students regarding mathematics. Actually, this Aaloo Chatpati project is context for the mathematics learning. That is why by engaging in the contextual learning, students will have authentic learning. Similarly, as they engage in the activities of making Chana Chatpati, their learning will be meaningful, so that they can apply the concepts, skills developed from the project in the unfamiliar situation as well. And similarly, definitely the students will be intrinsically motivated to participate in making chana chatpati. That is why there will be intrinsic motivation for the learning mathematics as well, uh, which is one of the problem in the learning mathematics in the current scenario. Therefore, it helps students in increasing the intrinsic motivation. Similarly, when students are engaged in this project, they will learn mathematics together with their engagement. That is, for example, when a person wanted to be a good driver, he or she cannot drive car in a good manner if he or she go to the field with only the theoretical knowledge. But he or she can drive a car in an excellent way through the practice, that is through engaging in the driving. Similarly, this project help mathematics students in learning mathematics by learning by doing. uh, Now, Pritika ma'am, can you show table? Okay. This is the table which shows ingredients that are used in the preparation of chutpati, and their quantities, how much the quantity of each ingredient is used in the chutpati, and rate is also given here. And two columns which are colored will be left blank, and students will be engaged in fulfilling these two columns by calculating different values that are required here. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Relating to grade 6 learning outcomes, grade 6, ma'am. In grade 6, there are some learning outcomes that can be addressed through this Aaloo Chatpati project. First one is related to the percentage. The second one is related to profit and loss, identification of profit and loss. Third one is profit and loss without having percentage. And finally, the fourth objective is related to unitary value and non-unitary value. And to develop these learning outcomes on the 6th grade students, we may engage students in calculating the percentage of each of the ingredient that are used in the chatpati. There are different ingredients, and they will calculate what percentage of the ingredient is applied, used to make the chatpati. In this way, and they can develop the idea of percentage. Similarly, the converting from fraction, decimal, or percentage, converting from one to other can also be developed from this project. Is the chatpati will be prepared for the purpose of eating or purpose of the project. Therefore, students will not sell the chatpati in real sense, but we can ask questions like if to get a certain amount of profit, what selling price must be fixed. By solving such types of questions, students will develop the idea of profit. Um, Similarly, based on the ratios given in the bill, that is given in above table, there are given rates, and students can calculate the unitary value. That is, in maximum of the case here, gram is the unit for the measurement, and students will be engaged in calculating the price for 1 gram of the ingredient for each of the ingredients, and then they will calculate with help of that unitary value the non-unit value, that is actual cost they have paid for the ingredient. Similarly, students will reflect on their learning after the engagement in the Aaloo Chatpati project. Next, regarding grade 7, there are two learning outcomes. First one is related to ratio and proportion, and the second one is related to profit and loss that involve percentage. In this case also, we can engage students in finding the ratio of each ingredient to the whole mixture. That is, there in the table that is given above, there are quantity of each of the ingredient together with the quantity of the whole mixture, and students will calculate ratio of each ingredient to the whole mixture. Similarly, they can compare the ratio of one of the ingredient with the another ingredient. For example, ratio of salt and another cabbage, etc. Similarly, the ratio of each ingredient to the Chatpati cone. Okay, it means that students can calculate ratio of each of the ingredient to the whole mixture together with ingredient in each cone. भनेको प्रत्येक जनाले जति पाउँछ त्यसको कुरा गरेको यहाँ. Similarly, students will be engaged to develop the concept of proportion, and for this students will be engaged in calculating the ratio of a particular ingredient to the whole mixture. Similarly, a ratio of that ingredient to the quantity included in the each cone of Chatpati, so that there will be a comparison of the two ratios. The two ratios will be the same. From this relation, students will develop the concept of proportion. After this, for the profit and loss, students will be engaged in leveling the price of the Chatpati to get the certain percent profit. In grade 6, they will use the certain amount of profit, and in grade 7, they will be engaged in determining selling price for making some percent of profit. Next, in this case, students will also discuss on some ethical issues. For example, it is not ethically not good to get to level the selling price, which can obtain 50% to 100% profit like that. We can also discuss such types of ethical issues also regarding profit and loss. And finally, students will reflect on how the project is helpful to them in understanding different concepts of ratio, proportion, and percentage as well. Regarding grade 8, there are two learning outcomes related to ratio and proportion, and related to discount, profit and loss. Students, we can assign the work of comparing different ratios and proportions related to ingredients and the quantity of the Chatpati for developing the problem solving ability on ratio and proportion. Similarly, solve problems of finding amount of each type of ingredients in the hypothesized quantity of mixture. That is, the project is devoted to the Chatpati for the 15 persons, and students can be engaged in determining the how much quantity of each ingredient is required to prepare the Chatpati for 25 people, 30 people, etc. In this way, by the concept from this example, they can develop the concept of ratio and proportion, as well as they can solve problems related to proportion. Similarly, students will level the price of chatpati cone so that they will get certain amount of profit after allowing certain percent discount to address the learning outcome related to discount. And similarly, they will discuss on the ethical aspects in this case as well. And finally, we can engage students in reflecting the learning from this. There are some examples as well. For example, calculation of ratio. Here, the total quantity of salt is 20 gram in above table, and the total quantity of bhujia is 60 gram. And to give the concept of ratio, we can engage students in finding this ratio, like this 20 gram is to 30 gram, means 1:3. And we can ask a question also. Here is the ratio is 1:3. Then what is the meaning of ratio of salt to bhujia is 1:3? Like this, we can develop their concept of ratio. Similarly, concept of proportion can be developed in this way. As I already said, for the concept of proportion, we need one of the idea maybe that the quantity of ingredient in the whole mixture and the ratio of same quantity for the case of the yeast cone. From this as well, we can develop the idea of the proportion. Next one. For the concept of the percentage as well, we can use the idea of percentage amount of the ingredient in the whole mixture can be used to develop the concept of percentage as well. Similarly, we can use different ideas to link different activities of the project with the concept, skill, and problem solving ability in mathematics. Thank you. Now, Khil sir.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, all of you. We have till now we have presented the Aaloo Pate project. In this project, the student engaged to prepare the Aaloo Pate, and they enjoyed the Aaloo Pate. Not only this, they are aware previously about the critical view, critical concept, how they can be related. This project can be related with the different disciplinary concept. It may be useful, the combined project with the health, science, and math teachers with the students. The sir connected, try to connect this project with the mathematical contents, as well as Pritika ma'am tried to relate it with the health dimension. Now I'm trying to connect this project with the science and technology subjects from grade 6 to grade 8. In grade 6, there are learning outcomes. First one is related to the scientific learning process, developing the scientific process skill. And second is the related to measurement and its importance. Third is also related to the different units of the measurement, local units and the SI units. And the fourth is related to the units and subunits, larger unit and smaller units. And fifth is related to the mixture, introduction to mixture and their types. And the last one is related to the daily use chemicals in the house. And to address these learning outcomes from grade 6, we can connect the project in this way to develop the basic process skills like the observation skills, classification skills, and testing or experiment experimenting skills and conclusion drawing skills, we can use the project. For example, to develop the observation skills, we can use the ingredients to test them, to smell them, and identify without viewing. For example, if onion piece is given to the student, and they are not allowed to touch and see, but they should identify it by smelling or by tasting. And then these types of skill is observation skills. And similarly, they can classify into different types, as already Pritika ma'am explained, on the basis of the function in the body, on the basis of nutrients found in these ingredients, and other types as well. And they can be engaged with conclusion drawing skills with the project after the at the lateral part of the project. Similarly, these project also can be connected with the measurement. There are different measurement like liters, grams, kilograms, and we can relate it with the handful of the puff rice, or handful of the gram, or other ingredients. That is local unit, and how local unit and the SI unit can be related, and why the SI unit is important, and then the local unit. And these types of concept also can be discussed with this project. And this is the Aaloo Chatpate itself is a type of mixer, and we can provide the concept of mixer. And this is a heterogeneous type of mixer, as we can see all the ingredients in the whole mixer. So we can discuss about the heterogeneous mixer, and we can engage students to give the more examples of such heterogeneous mixture by observing this Aaloo Chatpate, which they are enjoying. Similarly, we have already discussed about the different carbohydrate, protein, vitamins found in the ingredients. They are also the chemicals. We can introduce the chemical concept of chemicals that we are we have been used in the eating or in the home. That lemon juice is also a kind of chemical, salt is also a kind of chemical, oil is also a kind of chemicals. These different types of chemicals which are used in daily life can be identified from this project. So these are the relation of the project with grade 6 learning outcomes. Now let's connect some concept with from the grade 7. In the grade 7, 2 learning outcomes are related to this project. First one is scientific work and writing the report of the project work or practical work. And second is the acid, related to acid, base, and salt and their physical properties. So itself, the project itself is a project. So we can give various concept of the project, how the project is designed, how the project is planned, how the project is conducted, and what materials are required, and how the reporting of the project is made. We can connect this to this skill, and the writing the reporting of the project is important skill in the lower secondary level school science. So just for example, writing the titles, objectives, material required, and procedure of the project, and result and the conclusion. These may be the some important organs or title of the parts of the project writing or report writing of the project. We can relate this project, what can be the title of the project, what we have done, and what will be the objectives of this project. We can discuss what materials are used, and how we conducted the project, and what is the result, and what is the conclusion, what can we conclude from this project. By discussing such types of probing questions, we can make students able to write the project report. Similarly, some materials used in this project are the acid, like the lemon juice, lemon, that is the acid. So we can explain the different properties of that acid. We can test by indicators. We can test its taste. And salt, we can test by indicators, and we can discuss about the properties of acid and salt. Connecting the learning objectives of the class 8 is similar to class 7. We can explain the properties of acid and salt by the same way in class 7. We discuss about this class 6 to 8 learning outcomes. We try to relate this project with these grades, but we can relate this project in lower classes also. There are many concepts which are related to the lower classes. For example, sources of the plants, different flowering and non-flowering plants. We can connect these types of concept also. And if we discuss about the pedagogical perspective of this project is really real life experiences. Most of the students experience or taste the Aaloo Pate, and some of them have prepared at their home. And from their own experiences, we can relate the different subjects. We can integrate the concept of science, integrate concept of health and mathematics. So these types of pedagogy is the transdisciplinary pedagogy, which relates the start from the real life problem or real life issues or experiences, and trying to connect with different disciplinary concept. In fact, there is no discipline, border of discipline. There is the issue, there is the problem, or there is the experience that is related to the real life, and based on such problems or issues, the activities are designed and try to connect to the different subjects. So this type of pedagogy is the transdisciplinary integrated pedagogy. And this is the integrated planning, because there are the concept of health, science and mathematics. So if the different teachers teach the health these subjects, then these teachers need to collaborate to design the project and to provide the concept of their subjects. So students also learn from collaborative. We can engage them in peer work or group work, and we can interact with the teachers, interact in the group, and these types of learning is collaborative learning. And students become the imaginative too. So it is the imaginative way of learning rather than only conceptual and on the technical type of knowing, because we can engage them to imagine how much amount of puff rice is needed to prepare the chana chatpati for 30 students or 20 students or on a some number of students. So this is also a contextual learning, and very common context can be connected to the different subjects. So it is contextual learning, and it is itself is a project. So it provides the skills related to project, how project is designing, how students can be engaged in the project, and procedure of the project, and how the report of the project can be written. And this project-based learning, in this one project-based learning can provide, can encourage students to design the other many projects, and they can relate other subject area, other concept to the other projects also. So the pedagogical perspective is like a transformative type of pedagogies in this project. This much. Thank you, all of you, for your kind patience, and happy Merry Christmas to all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pritika ma'am, Harsha sir, and Kilnarayan Shrestha sir. This was really wonderful session, interesting one. You have presented how we could relate our science, mathematics, and health with the real life problems, and how we can engage our students to learn different difficult subjects in a very interesting way. I find it very interesting. Hope everyone got some sort of insight regarding this, and we are requesting you to post your queries here in the chat box, or if you like, you can also unmute yourself and ask your any sort of questions. Okay, if you like to. We'll have some sort of QA session for a while. Any queries, please? I could not see any queries there in the chat box. Thanesur Theory sir is appreciating you for your work. New concept, well done, thank you. Indramani sir is also praising you. Really interesting presentation. If you have got any sort of queries, then we can have it here. The floor is open now. Next thing, parallelly, I request you to fill up this form, the link of this form. It's for attendance. We are having the webinar series, and we appreciate your presence. If you fill up this form, then we'll have idea regarding your attendance. We'll collect the regular attendance, and then you will be honored with some sort of certificates also. You can also visit the YouTube link for these webinars videos in Department of STEAM Education. We also have our YouTube channel. Okay, it means we don't have any queries regarding this. We'll move forward to the closing remark from our respected Professor Indramani Shrestha sir. for his sharing his ideas and his words of encouragement, or how did he feel about this session? Indramani Srestha sir, you are welcome.
Okay, thank you very much, Kavita ma'am. Honestly, if I uh, go through the feedback, go for the feedback of this session, is that it was mesmerizing, and it was it could be able to make me spellbound. Yeah, and there were many goosebumps in my body as well, because I remember the UNESCO promotion regarding lifelong learning. Yeah, in that case, what I started to connect this idea with the learning that happens in each school. Actually, this example shows that how students learn, unlearn, and relearn. So these things, these sort of contextual issues can be brought into the classroom so that students can develop their critical thinking skills, problem solving skills, and creative skill as well. So this is the approach we call, and we have been promoting the STEAM approach through our university, and our students are doing a great job. So in this case, I also remember when I started my research and study at Kathmandu University, I came to, I encounter with the decontextualized education in Nepal. Not only in Nepal, mostly I can see decontextualized education. So whatever we learn or whatever we teach in schools, mostly what we have found is that they are limited to that school boundary. As soon as the students leave the school, means they finish their school education, and they most of them actually do not get how they can face the challenges in this 21st century age. That's why the decontextualized education can be contextualized through the system approach by bringing those type of real world problems into the classroom and connecting the ideas, the content, the hard skills, as well as the soft skills through this type of issues. That is what actually I have learned and unlearn and relearn from this presentation today. So all I have to say is that education should not be actually encircled in a school or limited within the school. We have to take students to the world where they actually can experience learning. That is what all about. That is what John Dewey also says: lifelong learning, that is experience and learning. So at the present, what students can experience, that actually shows what they are going to become for future. So learning by doing and involving students, engaging students in different activities that they experience, that they have experienced, that they have been going through in their real world, can actually be a valuable learning for students. That's why I really appreciate the way this issues is chosen, as well as the presentation skills that our students have done here. Congratulations to all. Similarly, the same type of different type of cultural issues or contextual issues will be brought in the next upcoming webinars. Thank you all of you who have joined this webinar, and we actually really appreciate your participation here. I think whatever you have learned, you can, whatever you have learned or unlearn or relearn, I think you can also take this approach to your classroom or in your profession. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kavita ma'am.
Thank you, sir, Indramani sir, for your encouragement to our friends. If there are still some queries, then we can have that sort of thing. Or if you have got any sort of opinion or you like to share it with us, then we are here for a few more minutes. And our respected Dean sir is also here with us today in this session. Do you have any sort of queries and regarding this particular program or this session, or regarding other queries? You are free to do that now. If not, then I like to also congratulate and I like to thank my friends Pritika ma'am, Harsha sir, and Kilaren sir from behalf of STEAM Education Department for your effort. The session went very well, and now it's time to wrap up. Thank you very much, everyone, for your presence. We hope to see you in the next coming sessions as well. We are having this webinar series every week on Saturday, 5:30 p.m. See you next time.
Thank you all.
Thank you. See you all.
See you.